It is finally spring in the Midwest, and so that means I have lots of stuff to do to get ready for the upcoming planting season. I was supposed to butcher a rooster today, but that fell through. So instead, I'm using my time. I'm dealing with some squash from last year, actually. So I have a pumpkin and some spaghetti squash on the bottom that my girlfriend gave me last year. She actually dates her squash on the day she harvests them, which is kind of nice because then I know how long I've had them and how long they keep. So the date on the spaghetti squash said 8/15, and now it is April 10th. So they kept a really good while in my basement, which is awesome. Let's see. So then I have some ground beef on the counter from a girlfriend who grows her own animals. So I'm gonna mix that with the spaghetti squash and then freeze some up, so we'll have that ready. It's finally starting to thaw outside. So I got out here today and did a little bit. And when I say starting to thaw, it's not done because there is all this snow and ice all along my house still. But my garden is finally starting to thaw. So I got in there and did a little bit of cleaning up today. Pulled up some weeds. Finally organized all my tomato cages. Got those ready for this spring. I actually like to keep some of the plants in my garden over the fall and the winter because I know that there are birds and other animals who appreciate having those last seeds, like as things are freezing, and having that food. And then in the spring too, I try to wait as long as possible before I clean everything up because I know that again, like those seeds and stuff left over from planting are a good place for critters and bugs and stuff to hide and get a food source as well. So I don't like till everything in and clean up in the fall like some people do. So I have this pile here of just like stems and stuff that I pulled out from today that I had left over the winter. And like deer and stuff will come and clean up the extra leaves. So like some of my Brussels sprouts, I just pulled the Brussels off the stalk as I needed them. And then like here's what's left of this one, of some of the Brussels we didn't get to before they hard froze. But then the leaves on top, like the deer and the rabbits and stuff can eat too. The rabbits eat the ones around the base and the deer eat the one around the top. So that's something I like to do. And then over here by my compost pile, I have a 3-bin composter system that my husband built me when we first moved here. So I went and I pulled out all the stuff that was in there with my pitchfork and started to like turn that. My husband doesn't quite understand the whole composting thing yet, so it's not perfect. So we have a lot of leaves that got thrown on the top at the end of the season. And in the middle, because I didn't like stir it super well right before it froze, there's still like a bunch of frozen spot in the middle. But I started to turn up some of that and get that ready. And now the sun will be able to hit those frozen parts and thaw them so I can stir the compost a little bit more. That is my neighbor's dog. They have a puppy who is very excited. And then over here by my compost, let's see if I can find one, a good one to show you. Here's a tiny little one. I don't know if you can see, just poking up here. Oh, this might not be an onion. That's actually something else. But along the perimeter on this side of my compost, this whole corner here, I planted a whole bunch of Welsh onions, which are a perennial onion that will, in the right conditions, divide as well and grow. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Divide, I guess, and make multiple patches. So those are one of the first things that we have come up in the spring. And you can see here, like, the little, I'm trying to get it in the frame. So those were, I just cover these with leaves in the fall to protect them, but there's a whole bunch of them in the back corner here that are starting to come up. So now I can harvest those in salads, which would be great. And then I'm looking That's a mint. I thought I threw some asparagus in this corner at one point too, but it looks like I got crowded out, but some other stuff. But then in my garden, I also started to clean up, and I have like asparagus around the perimeter. So I started to clear up where the asparagus will come out as well. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to get that in the frame or not, but that's the whole outer edge here where you can see I've cleared the leaves away. I've got green asparagus on one side, and then on this side, all along the fence, you can see where I cleared up back to the pallets there. That whole line is purple asparagus. I'm going to cut this short because I just got stung by some kind of plant while I was clearing over by the onions there. I did find a lot of like wild raspberry, and I'm not sure what else that's coming through my neighbor's fence that I had to clear away from like this back portion of my garden as well. I don't know if you can see like between the fences there, I have like a walking spot so I can access the back of the garden area. And there's some thorny things back there and over by the onions, and my finger's getting pretty angry with whatever I just brushed up against. So I'm going to cut this short and go inside and put some lavender on it. And I hope you guys all have a great spring.